Ba-da-bop. Ba-ba-ba-da-bop. Bum-bidi-bidi-bum-bidi-bop. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Slate, the highest rated edition of the Slate. Jeff Ulrich and Reed T. Fowler. I'm Emerson Latzia. Listen, buckle up, folks. We're across the pond here. We're talking all
Barracuda championship.
No, I mean, if you guys want to hand out some like later in the show, for sure. But there's a fat Millie maker for the Open that tees off. Damn. All right, hold on a second. Let me do some math. 8 hours. In about 8 hours, dudes, is when that thing locks. We'll talk some best bets. You guys have been. I'm going to give you credit. Seriously, I'm in a good mood today. Both of you have done a phenomenal job this week with content. Between all your articles, talking DFS, betting, wherever you are, and whatever you've been telling us, I've been listening, and I truly appreciate it. So thank you both for your service. Are you excited to be here today, Reed?
Very excited, Emerson. Got to make sure I rep the stripes here.
Yeah.
Make sure. Let's go. Sorry, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Know what that means. I don't know if they have Adidas in Canada, but
I'm going to make sure they don't have them anymore after this episode. We cancel Adidas.
No, I'm very excited, man. Like you mentioned, I was just talking with both of your boys, Sobel. I was on his show earlier today.
He's my best friend.
He was mentioning that next year, myself and Mike Collins, we're all going to go to Hawaii to watch the Open, because in Hawaii back home, it's on at 8:30 at night, like on Wednesday.
Prime time, baby.
So it's prime time. So we shack up at a bar. I know some
that
good
is
bars
sick.
that will just let us sit there the whole time and just watch golf and have dinner and go to bed at a reasonable hour.
Dude, that is actually amazing. And that's what I loved. Like at college, those two Hawaii tournaments, we would do the same thing, which, typically kicked off the schedule.
Amen.
And like, yeah, we would sit there like in our dorms, our apartments, mash brews and, eat ramen. I love little primetime golf.
Well, primetime golf.
Ulrich.
I'd be in as long as I didn't have to mash ramen. But primetime golf is the best. No doubt about it.
You see ramen, Slim
time
Jims.
out. Before we get into the Open, because we talked about it for the last week, do you not like ramen, like as a food group?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I don't mind ramen. It's if I'm going to a bar, I would probably prefer to have like an adult food. I don't know.
It's noodles. It's there's an adult version of ramen. Like you go to nice restaurants, Thai restaurants and stuff. You can get ramen, and it's Jeff. It's not. They're not in the back opening up the pack and then sprinkling a little sodium on it in the microwave for 30 seconds.
Yeah,
that's what you're referring to, and that's what I don't want to have because.
But that is what I'm referring to.
Some good places, Jeff. There are some awesome ramen places.
I know. That's. I'm sure there's some amazing.
Good. Because good. Okay,
stick with us, Jeff. Stick with us, dude. We got you covered. Okay, so I'm thinking. Do we want to hand out some? I know you guys have a lot of bets. There's a lot of unique bets we can do here. Do we want to hand out some DFS plays really quick because the Millie Maker, we're pushing that hard right now.
What if we just went through our favorite Millie Maker plays? And I mean, guys, everybody knows. We can. I mean, if Reed wants to throw out his favorite play, whatever. But let's talk some guys who are going to make some splashes. 5% owned guys who are actually just might, who we're willing to go in on, who we're willing to put.
Hell yeah, let's go because real talk over it. Kind of like I mentioned to Reed this morning, like on the show on the Sweat. It's like those are the guys who could really help separate you from the pack in massive tournaments like this. You got to find someone who's alone. So is there someone? It sounds like you have someone in mind. Who is it, Jeff?
I mean, I got a bag full of these guys, but it's just who you want to take. I mean, I think Thomas Pieters at 7,200 has the requisite upside we're looking for this week. Like I said this morning, I mean, I think he's a player who could easily come out and shoot 64 on this course. It's going to be easier, in my opinion, without without a ton of bad weather. It might not be great weather, but I think Pieters is a guy like that. But I also think Pieters will carry some ownership. If you want to really make some stars and scrubs lineups, you want to maybe start with Rory and get a Hideki in there, or a Cantlay in there too. You got to look under 7K. And there's a couple players at 6,700 I think are very live for good scores. Dean Burmeister hits it a ton off the tee. He's going to be able to drive all these par fours. He's played extremely well late. This is a top 100 player in the world. He's played the links the last couple of weeks. I think Burmeister at 6,700 is someone you should really be thinking about. He's not going to carry a lot of ownership, maybe 3-4%, maybe 5% max. But I think Burmeister's a player you could you should be thinking about in your stars and scrubs lineup. And I'll throw out Emiliano Grillo too. I know Reed made fun of me this morning, but when he gets some confidence with like around the greens and putting, this is another guy who could just come out and shoot like a 64 for you. Maybe he'll throw in a blow up round too, but like he could definitely put in some low rounds. And I think at 6,700, he's a player I could see top 20. He's top 20 at the Open twice already. So you get a top 20 from a guy at 6,700, you'll probably be close to on some of these like big winning lineups. So.
All right, Reed, you got anyone similar to like a Dean Burmeister, who's 92 in the world? Okay,
Dean Burmeister, Dean Burmeister.
Get me out of here, dude! Wait a minute, he has 4 top 5 finishes since November 2021.
Yeah,
all right, but he missed the weekend, he missed the weekend and 4 of his last 5 starts entering the Scottish Open. Okay, I mean whatever, but most of them have been DP World Tour events that he has been successful in. Okay,
yeah,
Reed, you got anyone you expect low on? Put some points, baby.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you a rundown of the last 5 years of who was under $7,000 in the winning lineups, the Millie Maker.
Yes.
So JD Holmes and Steve Stricker in 2016, 6,500 for Holmes, 6,400 for Stricker. Holmes was 2.6% rostered. Stricker was actually 5.3. And at $6,400, 5.3 is like basically saying like 17% for someone at 9K.
Yep.
So he was coming in with some heat. So to Jeff's point, if Peters is someone that's coming in with some heat, like 5, 7, like 5%, 6%, that's not a lot, right? Yep. Especially in a winning lineup. So those are 2 guys in 2016. In 2017, you had Hao Tong at $6,400, a guy that Jeff mentioned.
Shot like 64 in the final round that year.
And then you had RCB, someone who was more like predominantly on the Euro Tour back then when it was called the European Tour. Now the DP World Tour. He was $6,700. Get this, he was 11% rostered at $6,700. Yeah. So again, 2016,
the secret's out.
Yeah, you had 2 guys under $7,000 in both years in the winning Millie Maker lineup. And then we go for 2 years in 18, or excuse me, just 1 year in 18 where there wasn't anyone. The lowest was Zach Johnson at $7,200, the eventual winner. And in 2019, Justin Harding, I think he was first round leader as well in 2019. He was $6,400, 0.9% rostered. So no one knew about Mr. Justin Harding. And then obviously in 2020, we didn't have one, and there was no one in 2021 under $7,000. But Brian Harmon and Corey Connors were both $7,100, around 4.5% rostered. So basically,
this has been a pretty good event to take a shot with these under 7K guys, I think was what Reed is saying. Like at the very least, those low 7K guys, you're probably going to see at least maybe 2 of those guys, and probably at least one of these sub 700,000 guys. So I like that build this week. I really do. I like taking a shot in the million.
Right. You take. Oh, go ahead, Emerson.
I was going to say, no, who's down there is your boy Padraig Harrington, who, we've talked about a few times this week. What is he? 60, where is he? 6,700 bucks?
67. Yeah. 67 around there.
It's the same price as Burmeister and Grillo. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. And I know like Jeff has definitely taken a dump on you for Padraig, but when it comes to,
look, I don't even hate it. Steve Stricker, it's the same kind of thing. Like
yes,
I was on Steve Stricker the year he finished like top 10. I bet him like top 10. Like it was a really good year to get on Steve Stricker. It's the same kind of setup. You got a guy playing well on the Champions Tour. He's got a ton of Open Championship experience. There's really no reason, to dislike the Padraig Harrington call. I mean, I think if you're looking down there, at the very least, I would put Harrington in like my top 5 group of players, that's like under, like in that range. I mean, Grillo, Burmeister, sure, I like their upside a bit better, but I think Harrington I'd take in front of like Horsfield, Laren Thabel. I mean, Sean Norris, I'm not playing. Phil, we're not playing. Like, there's a lot of guys who you're just not going to play, but Padraig isn't one of those guys. So I'm not necessarily just writing him off. No, I think that's a fine call.
Yeah, okay. So Harrington's one of my favorite. I think Keith Mitchell is another one. He's been talked
69. He'll be popular. Nice. But again, like Reed said, I mean, we've had some 11% guys like Hao Tong sub 7K and 11% owned like that. Like that's fine. You can play Keith Mitchell even if he's 12% owned. That's not that much. Like
he has correlation. He has connection with this tournament.
Yeah, I saw that tweet yesterday, Reed. I guess he's got like a boatload of family there. His dad is a longtime member of the RNA, and his sister graduated, I think, from like St. Andrews, the school, the University of St. Andrews or something. So And he's fifth on the PGA Tour this season, strokes gained tee to
And
green.
you take a look at his stats too, guys. I mean, you talk about par 4 scoring, you talk about scrambling. I mean, clearly driving distance, you don't need that, but he's top in all of these. And you're like, wait a second, Keith Mitchell got the visor, going to contend at the Open Championship. And yeah, it could happen. I think we were talking pre-show, Kevin Kisner is also there. If this is like Tiger was saying, and all of these guys are saying that the drives are running out 40, 50 yards and the greens are softer, the fairways are faster than the greens. That's what Tiger was saying. If that's the case, who's like one of the best guys who play at coastal courses? It's Kevin Kisner. $1,600. No one what tournament, what major really can Kevin Kisner contend at? Of any, it's St. Andrews at the Open Championship. He's not going to be able to contend at Augusta. He doesn't have the distance. And if he does, he's got to make 1,000 putts. PGA Championship and the US Open are much too long for a guy like Kisner. $6,900 for Kevin Kisner, even though the season hasn't been great for him. He's sixth at the Travelers. Yeah. You're gonna most people are gonna see cut, and there's not gonna
he missed 5 straight entering the Travelers.
Yeah. And you're talking about a guy I don't really think that needs a ton of form when it comes to something like this. Boy, if he's 2% rostered, he also came runner-up in 2018.
2018, runner-up or Canusti. He was, I think, in the final group on Sunday.
He's made the cut in 5 straight Opens, Reed. So he definitely feels comfortable here. And guys who are good at scrambling could come into play a lot, Reed, when that wind picks up, because at least the forecast I read last night, I think it was an article from Monday on DK Nation, mentioned I think Saturday you could have gusts up to 21, 22 miles per hour. I don't know if it's changed at all. That's obviously something that's big when it comes to this tournament. I think best chance of rain was going to be in the first round tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's something you're factoring in.
I think you have to. I think especially here at this tournament, but look at the majors that we've had so far this year. I don't know why, but it's Augusta National was like this. The PGA was a little like this. The Players, which is not a major, was
close to it.
Right. The US Open, when we were up here, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't it was hot. But yeah, I mean, we've had some weather draws, and look at last week at the Irish Open, or excuse me, the Scottish Open. It was the weather draw for morning, the AM PM was 3.5 strokes, Jeff? I think it was. The disparity.
It was a big one.
So you have to, right? You have to consider it.
It's kind of weird though. The worst weather does seem on Saturday. This is the major where you figured we get the biggest wave split. With the way the weather looks, I don't know if it's going to transpire like that. I mean, it could, but the problem is, unless I'm missing something here, I don't really see a huge lean in either split right now. Do you? Because
I always, whenever I play the Open, I'm always trying to skew morning. Especially this tournament, right? They all start on hole number 1. And if you can get out early, right? Especially
the thing though is the gusts on Thursday look like they're worse in the morning. And then you also have really cold temperatures in the morning.
I noticed that the weather looks pleasant, at least for me, high 60s,
but in the morning, we're talking high 60s at noon. The morning, it's going to be 55, 52. So I don't know. I just don't really have a lean into one direction of which wave split you want to go on. So that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overanalyzing. So
it's not that big. It's because there's not a huge difference.
If I was playing one single lineup, say you're in the $200 single entry, I really don't think I'd do a wave split. I think I would just take the golfers I like and make the best build this week. Because the other thing is you could we could get to lock and be there's a gust of wind now as it's coming onto the course or something, or it could just start pouring in the afternoon and wreck your afternoon waves. So I don't know. I don't have a huge lean right now. I just don't see a massive reason to go on one wave over the other. But again, prove me wrong. If you got more info, feel free to throw it out. I don't see anything.
Yeah, I think it just might be recency bias with me.
I think you're right. There could be a wave split develop. I don't really know which wave it's going to be.
Yeah,
I don't have any lean towards either side.
It's just the wave splits that we've had when there's been any inkling of weather. it hasn't worked out for the PM wave.
Right. Sure. Yeah. And that's fair.
Right.
I do look at the waves right now, and it kind of feels like the mornings are going to be worse on both days. But again, I'm just reading like forecasts. I mean,
Right. It's like we should be there, right? Like it's like we should be
again.
there.
I mean, like, let's go, DK. Like, give us the plane tickets. We could be reporting on this live on social media and getting a million hits. I mean,
we could be in one of those sardine can hotel rooms of like 17.
Emerson would be in like a 4-foot bed, like just crumpled up.
Oh,
like
dude. I went down this rabbit hole last night on YouTube, reading about like the history of like the road hole and all like the crazy like finishes and dudes just driving it over the hotel. And like sometimes like windows breaking. And it's just, I was like, this is unbelievable. And how you could end up either on the road or against that wall towards the green. And guys, you have to hit it off the wall over like the gravel onto the green. And it like, it's made or broken, guys, like in years past, like that hole.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, and the road hole bunker, obviously, I mean, that's just taken so many lives. Like it's a cool hole. I mean, there's a lot of cool holes on St. Andrews, but that's like the tough hole. That's like the one where it really gives people problems. Like if you don't play that hole well, you're bringing double bogey or worse into it for sure.
Like the course really hasn't changed like a whole lot, like over the years. I think they've like attempted to lengthen it like a little bit, right? Where like with the tee boxes or something, but I don't think I think it's basically more with these.
They lengthened the tee box on 17, but this was like over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And I think they fixed up one tee box and made it like a little bit more space, but nothing crazy. They made the tee shot a little bit harder, but like basically what I've said, it's basically the same course as 2015. And these guys shot 16 under, 15 under in an open where the wind was so bad that they had to stop play for a bit. So they tore the course apart in bad weather. If we get good weather this year, like I really think the winning score could be like 22 under. Like I would not be shocked if you saw something like that. So maybe it won't play quite that easy, but I wouldn't be shocked if it does. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Reed, I've seen people talking like on Twitter, and it's just random people on Twitter searching like weather and stuff like that, that a lot of folks out there do expect scores to be like pretty low. Cause like the weather, while like inconsistent, like there's like you guys have already kind of mentioned it, and maybe a little bit of gusts on like Saturday, but how low do you expect scores to be?
I'm actually not as bullish on low scores as Jeff is. 2200 would be wild.
That would be insane, dude.
I think if that's the case and somebody's running away with it, like Finau's running away with it at 2200. Right, like that's why, or Louis running away with it at 2200, which is probably not going to happen. But or Finau for that matter. But I think it's going to be closer to probably 15 if it gets to where it's easy. And the reason why I say that is when you have like these aren't small greens, so that definitely helps. But these are tough greens. 3-putt avoidance is going to matter here. The 5 to 10. Don't like watch them on the Open app, right? Don't watch on the PGA Tour. Don't follow on the PGA Tour website because it's just like it's not going to be as good. And then on top of that, you're going to see, Joaquin Niemann has a 5-foot putt for birdie, and then you're going to see a 3-putt from 5 feet. That's going to happen this week, right? And so with it being hard and fast as it is, you're going to see a lot of these drives go into the fescue. You're going to see a lot of these guys coming in maybe with difficult angles. And I don't think it gets that high. I think you're going to see a pretty low round tomorrow or tonight, whatever you want to call it. I think opening round is going to be probably 7-8 under par. Especially if that's the case. But I think it's going to come back at towards the weekend.
All right. Well, I'm glad like you brought that up because it's a good transition over to like we can go over to bets if you guys want. And like I think one of the popular bets, especially like when it comes to majors, it's like first round leader. And Reed, I've seen like Tony Finau's like name thrown out there because I know you were just joking about it a little bit, but he's a guy who's been second, third, and fourth after day one on the Open Championship so far in his career. And on 2 of those occasions in 18 and 19, he was within 2 of the lead. So he does feel like one of those guys who's due for an opening day lead in this one.
Man, he's got 3 top 15s, man, in his last 3 Open Championships. Imagine if he won the Open Championship and it's like Louis got the Open Championship, Finau's got the Open Championship and 2 wins on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, I know.
0.
I
That
know.
would be serendipitous.
Meanwhile, my guy Billy Horschel has been sent home on Friday
Billy
on
took
5
his
of
stand,
7
baby.
occasions.
Billy took a stand. He said, "I've enough of the live guys." So you appreciate that, but yeah, first round leader. I tweeted the split to first round leader, and it looks like Rory's number one. You got Rory, Cam Smith, Fleetwood, Spieth, Zalatoris, Xander, Tiger, Shane Lowry, Morikawa, and Kitayama. And most of those guys, sans Tiger and Kitayama, are under 4,500. Right. So, or like above, right. So a lot of people are looking at the favorites to do on the first round. I tend to skew a little bit different. I think one guy that we have to take a look at is Webb Simpson. Like he's going out at the very first time, like at 6 something. So he's going to be the first, the very first game, as they call it, game 1. He's at plus 8,000. We see his scoring average, and he starts off early in these rounds. We've forgotten about Webb Simpson. I mean, it must have been what, last year, Jeff? We were talking about him every single week. $9,500 Webb Simpson, 35-1 Webb Simpson, still a good bet. I know he's been, it's far from that for Webb, but he's probably one of my favorite first round leader bets, especially because he goes out early. And all of my first round leader bets are basically going out early. Seamus Power, Rory McIlroy, Webb Simpson, and probably Kevin Kisner. I've talked myself into Kisner as well.
But Jeff, you were just mentioning how you're a little nervous about guys going off in like the morning.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, Reed could be right. Maybe the course gets just too firm in the afternoon, but I do think like the cooler temps could also play a factor. So my philosophy is I'd rather just have guys from both waves, like 2 guys. If you just wanted 2 guys kind of from the top of the board, you want to get a piece of both waves. Cantlay goes off late afternoon tee time. Cameron Smith goes off in a very early tee time. These guys both rank in the top 8 in first round leader scoring on the PGA Tour. They both played last week. They're both capable of going insanely hot with the putter. We know what Cam Smith can do. Cantlay is well overdue for like a low round in a major. That's just a simple way to approach it. You get access to both sides of the draw. You get 2 high end players, and you get like plus 3,500 on both guys. So that's one way I'd look to do it. But yeah, I mean, you can load up on early guys. Like I think you should kind of go for extremes when you're doing first round leader bets. Like you should take, like, if you think the afternoon's going to be better, take like 3 guys at 100-1 and going off in the afternoon. If you maybe take 1 high end guy and then go with 3 guys in the afternoon, or if you're like Reed, you just want to get the morning access, do the same with the morning guys. So go extreme in one way or the other, because if it does end up with one of the waves getting a big advantage, it's kind of an all or nothing thing, right? Like, rather than have it spread out over 2 guys over like, different days, then if you're going to do a bunch of them, maybe just basket it up. But a couple guys I'm looking at, I mentioned Dean Burmeister. He's got an early tee time too, so that would give you access to there. A couple other dudes now, and I can't remember.
David Duval, Jeff.
Whoa. Hey, Jacksonville's very own David Duval.
How do you know like all Jacksonville locals?
I don't know, dude. Which kind of brings me to like, why is everyone so high on Cam Smith? I know like it's kind of frustrating for you too, Reed. Like,
I think he sets up right. I think it's easy to write about and talk about. Look, and I'm not saying that it's like a cop out for everybody, but I'm saying like it's like he sets up so perfectly. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if he's contending. Yeah, but me fading him is more so like his number, the guys around him, and like everybody's playing Cameron Smith. Yeah, every single person.
Well, like Jeff, I know like putting is often difficult, like for a lot of people on links courses, and St. Andrews probably figures to be no different. And Smith does, looking at his numbers here, he ranks top 10 in the field in 3-putt avoidance. So that, I mean,
he's fantastic. And I mean, like I take people back to, the Tournament of Champions. He another really softer course, quirky course with slow greens, big, slow, weird greens. And he just dialed in his wedges and his short game and his putter. And it was just like, it was game over. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think we're going to see like 34 under this week, but I just would not be shocked if this course just played easier. And, it's just a good setup for Cam Smith if that's the case. So it's really hard for me to make an argument here against him. I definitely understand like the fade of him if you're on that, because I think he'll be heavily rostered as well for DFS. But I don't know. First round leader, again, it's always a really tough market in most weeks, but I feel like at the Open, it's tough too. Just go with the guys who are looking like solid values. Like if you can get a good number on guys, someone you like, take it. But I wouldn't get overly, like Webb Simpson's a perfect example that we brought up. I mean, he's kind of undervalued because he missed the cut. He's certainly got that short game and the putter that can get working. Yeah, I could see Webb Simpson starting with like a 62. Absolutely. So I might even add him. I mean, I think he'd be one of my top guys in that range specifically too. So.
Hey, Jeff, before we get into some long shots or mid-tier guys that you like, is there anyone near the top of the betting board whose number you really like? Just talking for outright. So maybe some of the heavy hitters.
Yeah. I mean, like in terms of pure numbers, I mean, like,
yes,
Cam Smith has come down to plus 2,000. Cantlay's at plus 2,000. I don't really like the numbers on those guys. A lot of these top players have kind of been like bet down. I mean, I'll just go back to the dude that I've been talking about like for the past 2 months, whose number I just still don't understand, but it's Adam Scott. I mean, again, this player's top 20 at the last major. He's a veteran. He's putted really well this year. His around the green game was way better at the US Open. And like the only facet of his game that's been inconsistent is off the tee. And it's running 40 yards. So he's probably just going to be able to take like a 3-wood off the tee everywhere. So I don't think like his off the tee game is going to matter. I think Adam Scott is a player who still, to me, holds like a really good number. Well, a lot of these other players have kind of been bet down. I think you can make an argument too, like Dustin Johnson at plus 3,500. If we're just looking at numbers, is pretty interesting. I mean, again, another veteran player, but I'd rather get on Scott at plus 6,500. And again, I mean, like who did Scott outperform at the US Open? He outperformed Max Homa, who everyone likes. He outperformed Dustin. He outperformed Neiman, who everyone likes. Like he's coming in like with good form, and just nobody seems to want to talk or care about what Adam Scott's doing. So yeah, that's good because his number hasn't changed, and you can still get him a plus 6,500, which is what his number was last month too.
He made his major championship debut here 22 years ago. This is already his 5th Open at St. Andrews, and like how much they like rotate these courses, and he's made the cut in 3 of his 4 starts at the old course, finished T10 in 2010. Reed, you kind of reacted to Justin Johnson when Jeff mentioned him. Is that someone you're looking at?
I'm not going to bet him outright, but yeah, just based on numbers, right, and the market kind of settling where DJ is, if we were to tell you, like, if Liv wasn't a thing, right, and DJ was the same price as Finau and Fleetwood, I think all 3 of us would say that's absurd. So what you're seeing in this market is like every single market, whether it be finance, whether it be betting, anything is emotional. It's an emotional market, right? It's how are we basing our emotions off of these numbers? Everyone loves Will Zalatoris. That's why he's at plus 2,500. He's the only guy in the top 20 that doesn't have a win. And he's plus 25, like not a win. And he's plus 2,500. He's got a lot of runner-ups and he's playing well, but it's emotional, right, Jeff?
I'll throw out another guy. I think that is actually, I missed this, but yeah, Reed's guy, Hideki at plus 5,000. I think that's a fantastic number. He's double Will Zalatoris. It's just because he missed the cut last week. Like it wasn't even that bad a missed cut. It's an absurd number on Hideki.
Hideki at plus 5,000. Like I love Max Homa, but I got Max Homa like at double what his number is now.
Yeah.
Right? Like Hideki Matsuyama belongs above Homa, above basically where Fleetwood is. Like that's where in my mind Hideki belongs, because out of anybody, like not named probably Cam Smith and a handful of guys, Hideki's got one of the best short games on the PGA Tour. He just does. Like him and Finau, like all joking aside about Finau, those 2 guys, their short games are very underappreciated on the PGA. And why do you think Finau does so well at the Open Championship? Is because he's around the green. His short game is fairly solid. Can he putt within 5 feet? No, but like he can get it to 5 feet and he can make a few, but he just doesn't make all of them. So that's like, when you look at these numbers, and even Brooks, like I'll bring up Brooks Koepka as well, like plus 5,000 for Brooks. Look, no one's talking to Brooks. I have yet to see a press conference with Brooks. No one's asking him about Liv anymore. Like he's just
he's just there.
He's just there. And he's at plus 5,000. Like Brooks at a major at plus 5,000. I know we've done this song and dance for the last 3 majors and he hasn't come through. But boy, and he's got a good record here. Like he's a strong starter here as well. And at plus 5,000, like that to me, that's where you're finding the sweet spot is Hideki, Brooks at plus 5,000. And I would even go down to someone like Sanjay at plus 65. I agree with Scotty, with Jeff on Scotty, but at Sanjay at plus 65, 2 missed cuts back to back. When have you seen that from Sanjay ever? Never.
That's what worries me. I'm a little worried he's injured or something, but I mean, other than that, I mean, it's a good number. Like,
but but Hideki's the same thing, right? Like Hideki's been like, oh, back injury, neck injury. You know, we're all holding our collective breaths on someone like that, and we haven't heard anything. I mean, I've been tracking the Sanjay M tracker on Twitter, and he looks good. Like again, we have nothing to go off of other than what he's done. Look at what Sanjay's done tee to green for those 2 missed cuts. It is absurd how good he's been. And the Augusta correlation, Sanjay was runner up with Cam Smith the year Dustin Johnson won. Right. So he's right there. And at 65, that's what you got to do is you have to get ahead, right, of these, ahead of the Scotty Scheffler, ahead of the Cameron Smith when they're at like plus 5,000. That's where I think you're going to find the most meat this week.
I didn't realize Dustin Johnson's like ball speed has been down like so much, and
he's just chilling, man.
First 2 days of the U.S. Open, he spent being outdriven by Matt Fitzpatrick, and it's Fitzpatrick and Homa, who I believe are paired with Tiger Woods. Yeah, and I think Jeff, you mentioned how you didn't kind of like that for them this morning.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's not like the biggest deal, but I don't know. You just never know where you're going to get or how guys are going to react. I mean, clearly
because of like the huge galleries and actually having people like pay attention and watch you. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's huge galleries, and I just feel like it takes away a little bit from what guys are going to be focusing on, like in the tournament. A little bit more worried about it for Homa probably than Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick could probably just go about his business, and he'll probably scrape by the missed cut. But Homa is a guy who you feel like could just get lost in the moment just because he's obviously a huge Tiger fan. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like. I'm fading Homa and DFS just because it's going to be super popular anyways. Yeah. But, like if you're using him or you're just buying him, I mean, you should probably just don't worry about it. It's not like I have any insight into their brains or exactly what they're thinking about right now. But we have seen Tiger, like he's a little bit tough to play with just from the perspective of what you have to deal with. And I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it didn't really hurt Neiman at the Masters that much. No. He had a fine opening round. I know that, but it's still like something to consider.
I mean, just while you have it on the screen, I see Tiger Woods to miss the cut, plus 120. How would you bet Tiger Woods? How would you recommend someone bet him?
I mean, I would probably consider a missed cut bet on Tiger. Okay. I mean, I really would. It's just like how many competitive rounds, like even like practice rounds as he got in. I mean, it's just, if the putter isn't there for Tiger, like the long game's not going to save him. It's probably could be erratic. Like it's just, it's not like a super hilly course or anything, but like you're still dealing with like the links and getting in and out of bunkers. Could be a couple long days for Tiger. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not bullish on him at all. I mean, I have no bets for you other than really just like probably if you're, to miss the cut. Unfortunately, I hope he doesn't miss the cut. I'm not actively betting him. I'm just saying like. We're talking about Tiger bets. Yeah, this would probably be a spot where I'd take him and miss the cut.
Reed, a lot of people are writing him off after they saw him perform at Augusta National. He had to pull out at Southern Hills. He didn't even play the U.S. Open. But we know this. You know this. The old course is different. It's like it's strategy, it's chess, it's experience, and maybe most importantly, like for Tiger Woods, Reed, it's an easier walk.
Yeah, this is like Jordan flu game. Tiger.
Oh, so are you feeling it a little bit?
I'm not Tiger? Gonna bet him to win, but
no, that'd be kind of crazy.
You said you wanted to add someone, do it.
Coward.
He's the most bet on golfer though on DK Sportsbook.
I saw that, dude. Like
he's the most bet on golfer.
There's several ways you can bet on him. If you had to pick one, is which way would you go?
I think he's going to make the cut. You're talking about the 150th, and call me a romantic when it comes to golf, but like when he speaks, when he steps, and maybe the step isn't the same, the gait isn't the same, but like he moves, like it reverberates to the industry. Yeah, this guy is like, this is everything. That is the old course. It is Tiger saying in April, I am playing St. Andrews.
Mm.
Like, I don't care if my leg is off, I am playing St. Andrews. So since April, he's known and he's been thinking and prepping. And he was there for like 14 days with JT, just, talking shop and chopping it up, right? And like, I think we got a little excited with him after Augusta at Southern Hills, right? We're like, oh yeah, he's like, of course. And then like, that wasn't great. But right, those tournaments, like the US Open, probably not going to play, like he's probably not going to play that ever again, which is sad.
No,
because it's just not for, like, it's just that course is not for him, that course setup. But here at St. Andrews, where he's won two out of 3 of his Open championships, yeah, absolutely. Like, I think he's going to make the cut. The group, and this, I'm looking at this right now. The group that I'd be worried about, not so much Homa and Fitzpatrick, is the one before Tiger, which has Jeff's boy Thomas Peters, and then my 2 guys in Padraig Harrington and Keith Mitchell. That's the group that you have to worry about, because everybody tries to get ahead of Tiger's group.
it's true.
And that could screw up. And that's what a lot of people have mentioned, a lot of golfers have mentioned, is that when you're playing ahead of Tiger, then that can be a little bit distracting. But if you're getting distracted by that, then you don't deserve to win, because like, this is the Open Championship.
Yeah,
Grow
man.
up.
Yeah, grow up, Peter Pan. All right, I think we got just like a minute or 2 to go. This is basically like any other bets you really like, you want to share with the people. I mean, just fire them off, spit it off. Anything we haven't hit yet. So producer Eamon says 1 minute. Jeff, anything else?
I mean, I think we went over a lot of stuff. Here's a 3-ball bet for tomorrow. Okay. Emiliano Grillo is in the same group with Abraham Answer and some guy from Japan. He's plus 165. Answer is a terrible short game. His approach game has been trash. He's the favorite in the group. I think Grillo plus 165 should actually be the favorite. That's my favorite 3-ball bet for tomorrow. So there you go.
Reti Fowler, anything else you want to add?
I want Jeff to say that name, that last name.
Katsuragawa.
But very, very close. No, what about the CUDA? We're not talking about the CUDA right now?
I got 2 bets for the CUDA.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Producer Eamon's going to kill us. Go ahead. Hurry up.
Doc Redman and Brandon Hagee. There you go.
Matthias Schwab plus 3,000 at the CUDA. That's it.
Outright. Okay. Of course. We're not cowards like you.
That's it.
All right. Dog beds every week.
Hey, my breaking news. My wife ordered a new dog bed yesterday on the first Prime Day. I know.
Loading up for the year on Prime Day with dog beds.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, we're going to get rid of one of the crates soon to have more room. And then we're going to let one of them just kind of wander at night, and hopefully they don't eat. They ate a book. They shredded a whole book about like the Queen and the royal family and stuff this week. And I'm like, that's where you guys are from. English Springer Spaniels.
That's why they did it. They said, screw the monarchy, man.
Yeah. They're over it, man. Okay. It says revolution. All right. Great stuff, guys. I'm sure like Reti Fowler, you're going to be getting up here in like 8 hours. You probably won't even be asleep. You're going to be staying up doing something kid.
I got a 7-week-old.
Little Reed's going to get Big Reed up for the tee off,
Get the feet.
All right. We got to go. AC on the 1s and 2s, producer Eamon. Thanks. Reed, Jeff, great work. We'll see everyone back tomorrow morning for the sweat. We're live at 11 o'clock Eastern time, right back here on YouTube and Twitch. We'll see you.
Peace.